Hey, so for my next one, it is the moon in Cancer. So what does it mean to have the moon in Cancer? Well, moon in Cancer is probably the best moon placement just because the moon is an exaltation in the sign of Cancer, meaning that of all the zodiac signs, Cancer is the one that works best with the moon. Why is that? Because the moon is all about nurturing. It's all about emotions. It's all about the mother archetype. It's all about the unconscious and really going within the home. These are all things that Cancer is a master of. So it's a natural sign. So with the moon in Cancer, on a plus side, you're very very sensitive and you're very very able to have a high level of emotional, unless other parts of the chart would push this the other way. But you're able to have a very very strong amount of emotional intelligence and emotional acceptance and knowledge of your own emotions. So also, you need people with this placement need nurturing, and under stress, they may retire to the comfort of their own home. The moon speaks to the mother, so there's often a very strong bond with the mother, and sometimes there can be a difficulty in breaking away from the home later in life. Moon and Cancer people are home bodies. They just love the home, and they love their families. They love the traditions associated with the families, and yeah. So being a water sign, Cancer, it pertains to the emotional, psychological, and spiritual dimensions of life. So it makes people very empathetic, able to feel deep, deep emotions, and also quite intuitive, especially an intuitive ability to like sense other people's emotions, and they can be very nurturing people. They're the good friends. They're the mothers, like the good mothers. Like in the group of friends, like the Cancer moon is the person that is taking care of the other people, who's there to talk to that person for such a long period of time. So it's also a cardinal sign, and this is concerned with taking actions. So these people are likely to feel a sense of responsibility that will impel them to take action where like when it's concerned with the well-being of others. So aside that, it's a sign of emotional support, of deep connection to family, home, togetherness, and they just love the family. Like they get so much well-being from being around the family and the close people in their life. Um, so like the lunar qualities of motion, empathy, intuition get exalted in Cancer. I said that before. And also these people can be very moody and very driven by emotion, influenced by their changing moods. As a water sign, it's a changing mood. It's up and down. It's not consistent. They feel very deeply. So they're very sensitive people. You don't want it, like they can be hurt quite easily. And because so one thing with Cancer moon is that they're extra sensitive to the cycles of the moon. So if you're a Cancer moon, you should really pay attention to the moon cycles, like see how you are on full moons and new moons, and really feel into that. So they can use this sensitivity to a great advantage if they learn to recognize their own internal rhythms. And then that's when the real advantage of the Cancer moon comes in, because they're really able to know at each moment what they naturally need on an emotional level, naturally following that inner path. So aside from that, there's one thing that happens with most water signs. It's where you're unable to discern between your own feelings and those of the people around you. Because of a water sign, you're so sensitive that you can be extremely impressionable and likely to be instinctively responding to how others are around you. So for example, like you might be in a certain situation and this person's really sad, really depressed, whatever, and you'll actually like be the sponge, take that in, and sometimes think, oh, that's my sadness, that's my aggression, or whatever. So a big lesson for Cancer moons is to like learn to know what's yours and what's not yours, and you can usually see this when you've left that situation. You go back and enter your own energy. So also Cancer moons can be quite introverted and really really like being alone and like being at home. It can also be very artistic because it is so sensitive. Um, So on the downside, this moon placement can be associated with a tendency to attract people who are emotional and needy, because Cancer is such a provider and so there for people emotionally that they can find themselves constantly being the caretaker and kind of pushing their own needs to the side because they care so deeply. So yeah, so that's one thing to to look forward to look at, and if you're a Cancer moon, and maybe try to see how that's happening, if that's happening in your own life, and start to learn. One of the big lessons for Cancer moon is to learn to put yourself before other people. Like, it's not saying be a bad person, don't take care of people, but know when someone's taking it too far. So yeah, and I guess you could sum it up in saying that withdrawing from relationships where you play parent is important, and it will allow you to attract into your life an equal who will recognize and meet your needs in return. So yeah, that's about it for Moon and Cancer. Please feel free to leave any comments, anything I left out. I know it's in 5 minutes, you're not going to capture an entire moon sign, but I'm trying to really just give a very broad perspective. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy this video. Bye.